It was supposed to be a routine trip through airport security, but for one black woman, it became a nightmare. The officers didn't see her confidence or her dignity. They saw only the color of her skin. What started as random checks turned into something far darker, something that would strip away not just her rights, but her very identity. And as flames consumed the one document that proved who she was, the truth about who they were humiliating would leave everyone stunned. Watch until the end. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Her name was Alicia Carter, a poised, graceful woman in her early 40s. To strangers, she seemed like any traveler, calm, composed, with a passport tucked neatly inside her bag. But beneath the surface, Alicia carried more than luggage. She bore the weight of history, of ancestors who had been silenced, of voices that had never been heard. As the wife of the nation's Attorney General, she understood the law, justice, and the fragile line between dignity and oppression. To her, airports were just another stop on her busy schedule, a place where she blended in with the crowd. But this time was different. From the very moment she stepped in, she felt the stares, the kind that lingered too long, the whispers not meant to be heard. She brushed them off until uniformed officers singled her out, and her ordinary day began to unravel. The officer's voice was clipped, almost rehearsed. "Ma'am, step aside." Alicia obeyed, placing her bag on the table, her hands steady but her pulse quickening. She had nothing to hide, but experience taught her that being black meant innocence was rarely enough. They opened her bag, rifling through her belongings as though searching for a hidden crime. Her passport was taken from her hand, studied, then dismissed with a smirk. Questions followed. Where are you going? Why here? Why now? Each one sharper than the last, designed not to gather answers, but to remind her of her place. Other travelers passed by freely, their documents barely glanced at, while she stood trapped under a spotlight of suspicion. Minutes stretched into an hour. The line of onlookers grew. Then came the moment that twisted the air. One officer held, her passport over a trash bin, a lighter flickering in his hand. "This doesn't look real," he muttered. Before she could speak, the pages curled, smoke rising, flames devouring the very proof of her identity. Gasps rippled through the crowd, but no one stepped forward. Alicia's heart pounded as her future seemed to burn with it. What would she say? Who would believe her? In that moment, humiliation and anger fused into silence, until the world would soon discover exactly who she was. Just as the last corner of her passport turned to ash, a voice cut through the tension. Another officer rushed in, whispering urgently into his colleague's ear. Their smug expressions drained in an instant. The woman they had treated like a criminal was not just any traveler. She was Alicia Carter, the wife of the United States. Attorney General phones had captured everything: the burning passport, the sneers, the intimidation. The crowd now stared in stunned silence, realizing the officers had crossed a line that could not be erased. Alicia stood tall, her dignity unshaken even as the smell of burnt paper lingered in the air. For the officers, the nightmare was only beginning. For the system, the truth had just been exposed. The officers were suspended. Their actions were condemned not only by the Attorney General, but also by the nation as a whole. Yet for Alicia, the damage was deeper than the ashes of a EVD passport. It was a reminder that even power and proximity to justice could not shield her from the reality of being black in a world that judged before it listened. Her story spread quickly, sparking outrage and reflection. People debated not just what happened to her, but what happens daily to countless others without cameras to bear witness. Alicia knew her humiliation had become something bigger, a reckoning, a mirror held up to society. How many more stories like hers will it take before change becomes reality? Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.